Hello guys! How is everybody? I think it's been about 2 months since I've podcast, and I'm back. I just felt like I needed to catch up with everybody. Hope everyone's having a good summer so far, and you're able to get some knitting in or any sort of making. I've been playing around with my lighting because I just got this really cool ring for lighting that I know a lot of other podcasters seem to use. I just happened to be at Marshall's one day and they had one, and I thought, oh, that's perfect because it has a little tripod in the middle. So I definitely needed that. That's probably the biggest draw is the tripod. So anyway, today's a beautiful day. Oh, I didn't even tell you who I am. So my name is Stephanie. I obviously am the host of The Grateful Knitters. It should be Grateful Knitter now. It started out as Grateful Knitters. If it's your first time here, it started off as Grateful Knitters because my daughter and I started the podcast together, and then she moved out of state, so I've just been doing it on my own. However, I did do a Zoom call with her that I recently recorded. And she hasn't really been knitting or doing anything, but I thought it would be fun to include one of our calls just so that the viewers could see her and our interaction, sometimes funny. So I'll probably include that at the end. So it's probably not going to be a super long episode. I have been knitting, but amazingly, I have been super monogamous with mostly two projects, one of which I finished, but it is not to my liking, so I'm actually going to have to start over on that one. I tend to be a perfectionistic knitter sometimes. I mean, in this case, I don't even think it was being a perfectionist. I think I picked the wrong yarn, and it didn't come out big enough. So I will get into that. So I work in education, so I'm done with my school year. Summer is here. It's just starting to get warm in my area. I live near Monterey, California, Carmel area. So the weather's been really beautiful. And I have just been trying to get some knitting finished and some projects that I think I talked about on my last episode, and how I was kind of beating myself up about starting things and not finishing them. So I really, really tried to focus on working through that of late since I podcasted. So last. So I will show you what, I'm not quite finished, but I'm almost. So I think I talked about this. I did. I think it was the last one or the one before that, but it was a shawl that I was knitting for a family friend, I guess I could say, who did something really great for me over COVID, during COVID. So I thought I would give back to her and knit her a shawl. And what started out with the Lune shawl, which is by Natasha Hornby, who is fast becoming one of my favorite designers. And I'll tell you why in a minute. So it started out as the Lune shawl is what I was knitting for this person, but then I got all the yarn for it, and I was using Hudson and West weld yarn, which is a fingering weight, very rustic. I wasn't liking the way that the consistency of the yarn was throughout the pattern. Excuse me, and it was a very thick, and it's a very rustic, thick and thin, inconsistent looking yarn, which it's beautiful, but for that particular pattern, it just wasn't pleasing to my personal eye. So I went back into Natasha's patterns because she has a bunch, and I chose the Anthe shawl, which I actually had already purchased, and so I just changed everything, except that I did use the same one of the colors of the original of the weld that I was going to use for the other one. And so, yeah, so I chose the Anthe shawl, and it's not printed in color, but you'll see what I have going so far. So it's a mosaic. I think most of her patterns are mosaic, which I love mosaic knitting. I like it almost better than stranded color work, because it's just easier. You know, it's less to fiddle with. You're just doing two colors and holding one across and slipping the other. So it's a lot less fussy. So anyway, I kept the original gray for the main color, and then I switched out the other two colors, which is like a chocolatey brown, which was a pretty deep stash. I don't even know. It didn't even have a ball band on it. So that's another thing. I'm like really kind of a little bit worried about playing yarn chicken and having enough to finish it. But I'm pretty close to the end. So, you know, I'm probably about 16 rows into the mosaic, because you go back and forth on it. And so, yeah. Oh, and then the light pink is Tanis Fiber Arts, which is just a fingering weight yarn that I had purchased last summer, I think. And it's really soft, and I think I'm not a huge pink person, but I think that it really goes well with this color, and I hope that you can see it well. I showed it to Elle on Zoom, and she said that she thought it was green, minty green, the pink. Or no, maybe it was the main color. So no, it's not. It kind of does present a little green, but it's more gray. It is gray. It's like a heathery gray. So there's that, and then I just started. Well, it looks like I just started, but like I said, I'm pretty far into it. But isn't it beautiful? So I'm really pleased with it. And it's quite addictive. And the reason I like Natasha's patterns is because there's so much variation in the stitches, the type of stitches that you do, the different elements and design elements that are in it, which I love doing. I get easily bored, which I've talked about before. So her patterns are perfect for me, because just when I start to get bored, then it changes up again and something new is incorporated. So for me personally, that really works out, and I'm learning a lot about myself as I go along in my knitting journey, that I just am definitely one of those people that does not really enjoy doing just say like a garter or a stockinette stitch completely. I mean, I'll do it, but it takes me, I think I set myself up for failure when I do projects like that, because I just tend to get bored and give up on it. So anyway, I'm really happy with this. I'm hoping to continue just being super monogamous on it, which I'm at the end now. Typically I do that a lot, where I get to the end and I'm like, I'm done. But on this, I don't feel compelled. I don't feel like that at all. I feel compelled to finish. And so, yeah, I think the person's really going to like it. I did make one little mistake there. That's the only bad part about this type of project, mosaic. I mean, maybe if I was a really awesome, like prolific knitter, which I don't consider myself to be one, I think I'm still pretty beginning. So fixing mistakes such as these can be tricky, especially when you're doing it like on a garter ridge. It can be hard. So, and there's so many different colors. And so I think I'm just going to try to do it with, using like a double knit, or what's that technique called? Not double knit, but it's where you basically sew over it with the yarn. And so duplicate stitch. I think I can look that up and try to figure out how to do it, but it really isn't that horrible. I mean, it is right in the middle of the shawl, but I think I'll be able to fix it. And I also think, looking at the samples of other people that have knit this on Ravelry, I do think that I probably made some mistakes. Like on this part, I think it's supposed to look more like this, and I think I probably did not hold the yarn on the right side. You know, like when you're on the wrong side knitting, you're supposed to slip with the yarn held in the front. So I don't think I did that, but actually I think it kind of gives it more interest. And I mean, this is an example. I mean, that's an example of how I am as a knitter. I kind of zone out sometimes and just do my own thing. And then sometimes it can work out and sometimes not so much. So I think in this case, it's fine. If you see, it still creates a very cool pattern. It's just not the same as this one. It's more like little dashes. So anyway, I think it's cool. What else was I going to mention about it? Oh, also the chart size is on this pattern is so tiny, and my eyes are really going. And so I had to take it over to the UPS store and have them blow it up to like a 11 by 17 size, so that I could see that. So that's a tip for anybody that's struggling with the chart and how teeny tiny the squares are. Yeah, I would recommend doing that. Or I've also heard on other podcasts where they have Knit Companion, which is an app that will do the same thing. But I think it's a paid for app, and I wasn't really willing to do that because I don't think I would use it enough. I just realized you can see the light in my glasses, so that's kind of annoying. Oh well. Yeah, so I'm loving it. I love everything about this shawl. I'm really excited to finish it up. Oh, another thing that I did that I've never done before, and if any of you guys have cats that get into your yarn, which my kitties are pretty good about it, but Cosette, the baby kitty, she just once in a while can't help herself. And if I swear, I mean, I feel like she knows which projects I'm working on currently, and so she will target that yarn. She's a bad girl. So the gray yarn, one of the balls of the gray she got into while I was at work, and I didn't know, and I came home and it was all crazy. I mean, it was mutilated. So I was like, that is an expensive skein of yarn. I'm not going to just, as I'm speaking, there's a beautiful, I wish I had a way to record it, but there's a beautiful little hummingbird with a red head. Bye, hummingbird. For a minute there, I was worried that I wasn't going to have any hummingbirds because I put their food out, their water, and they weren't drinking it for a long time. I think it just wasn't warm enough. Anyway, sidetrack. What was I saying? Oh, magic knot. So what I decided to do, I was like, oh man, this is very expensive yarn. I need to try to salvage it. And so I just learned how to do magic knots so that I could save the yarn. And if you've never tried that technique before, it's basically just tying two ends together and tightening it. It's hard to explain it, but if you YouTube it, you can find very good tutorials on it. Very Pink Knits, I think, is the one that I usually gravitate towards. All of her tutorials are just like top notch, really good quality. So anyway, that was great because I was able to save the yarn. I didn't have to throw it away. And in this case, you know, the yarn is very rustic, so you don't really see any of the knots that are created in that technique. So it really worked out good. So it's great when you have a pattern that you can, you know, learn new techniques while doing it. So I'm really happy with that. Okay. So the other thing, and like I mentioned before, was a cowl that I was making for my friend's daughter who graduated from law school recently. And this is called the Escher's Dream, which is a pattern by Sweater Freak Knits. And I think the pattern is gorgeous and it came out lovely, but the size is too small. I mean, it's hard to tell here, but I'm kind of stretching out the top, but the blue is smaller than the end, with the beige end. So what I did was, it's always a yarn issue with me. I always second guess my choices, or I get into it and I think, oh, something happens and I'm not happy with the way it's looking. So in this case, the original pattern called for bulky weight, and I didn't realize that. I don't know how I overlooked that. I guess I thought because it was a cowl it wouldn't make that big a difference. It made a big difference. So I ended up buying, because I wanted two certain colors. The person I was knitting it for really likes blue, so I thought what I would do is get this and a light blue, which I don't have it in front of me, but it's kind of like the color of my ring, just a very pale, maybe even lighter. And it's Clinton Hill Cashmere. I wanted to make it in a very luxurious, you know, pretty fancy yarn for the occasion. So I got two skeins of, they didn't have the light blue. I know that's what it was. They didn't have the light blue in the bulky. So I decided to get it in DK weight, which I thought, it's not going to make that big a difference. Oh yeah, buddy, it did. So here's what happened. So I started off making it with the light blue and this cream color. Well, the light blue was not, you couldn't see the pattern at all. It was very, very little contrast. And with this type of pattern, it's important to be able to see it. I mean, all the work that's put into that. So I just didn't want to keep going. And the yarn is very expensive. So I just decided, you know what? I am going to try to use that light. That I did all kinds of things. I experimented. I tried to hold the light with one strand of this, thinking it would look okay. It didn't. It marled within a pattern like this is too much for the eye. So then I ripped that out. And then I just decided to do blue in a fingering. So I held it double so that it would be an equal weight to the DK. Well, it's still not thick enough because, as you can see, one side is much, well, I don't know if you can tell, but this end is a lot. You can see where it goes down. It's just, this is bigger at the top. See? There, you can see it better. So, not happy with it. It's not good enough to give as a gift. And so, yeah. I'm going to either be ripping it out, although Audrey's brother, Cody, saw it in my knitting bag one day when I was over there, and he's like, I want that. Do I want to gift a 6-year-old a cashmere cowl? I don't know about that. I don't know. I have to really think about that because this is quite an investment. So, anyway, so back to my original problem. So I think what I'm going to do, so what I'm trying to decide is I'm obviously going to reknit this for her, but do I want to use cashmere again? Because they don't have the color combination that I really wanted in, well, at least in Clinton Hill. I did go to my local yarn shop, and they do have a lot of cashmere, but none in those colors. Obviously, it's not going to work out with the super light blue. I think this works, obviously, but I don't know if I really like it that much either. So I'm wondering if I should just stick with black and white. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm pondering. And I'm just working on, I'm trying to finish up the thing that I already showed you, the Anthe shawl. So as soon as I finish that, then I'll come back to the drawing board on this. But yeah, if you have any opinions on what you think I should do, it's really soft. So I think it would be nice to have it in cashmere. However, it is California. This person lives here. So do we really need, cashmere is nice in that it gets cold here in winter, but I don't know. It is around your neck, so you want it to be comfortable. I don't think rustic yarn would do it. Some people aren't affected by that. I didn't ask her that, but I just think it would look better in a more luxurious yarn. So, but I love the pattern. I love houndstooth. It's very professional looking, which is exactly what I wanted for her. So there we go. That's that. So I was looking at my Ravelry, and in my library, I think we can all attest to this. I've purchased a lot of patterns that I have not knit. The majority of the patterns I have not knit. I won't say how many I have in there, but just to give you an idea, I made a list of my summer knits just for summer tops that I have actually purchased. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like 17. Okay, granted, some of them I've already knit. But I did make a list of ones that I want, that I should, because before I purchase, I really made a vow to myself, lately, that I am not going to purchase any more patterns until I get, just like the same with yarn. I've been really good about it. I think I've purchased one skein of yarn in the last 6 months. So I have to use up what I have. And that's really going to be my goal, is working in my stash, working on my Ravelry library and things that I've already purchased. It just doesn't make sense to keep buying. So, plus I don't really have the money. I just had to buy a new car, which now I have a car payment. That's not fun. And yeah, so I'm on a pretty tight budget these days. Which I love watching podcasts. There's certain podcasts, and it's nothing bad to say about them. But I think for a person on a budget, sometimes it's hard to watch certain ones, like the Grocery Girls. I love them. They're great for laughs. They just have great personalities, but they are definitely, really into the enabling. They're what I consider enabling podcasts. If I ever have extra money. If you ever have extra money to spend on yarn, watch Grocery Girls, because they will, it's like a little catalog. Every episode they are showcasing new makers and dyers and all kinds of makers, not just in the knitting world. It's mostly fiber, but I think the last time I watched them, they had, they were I don't know if they were necessarily endorsing them, but maybe. Some kitchen knives. They do different things. They're doing candles now. They have their own store. So I really of late have been trying to avoid watching things like that, because I tend to get myself in trouble. yeah, so anyway, and maybe next episode I will share some of my favorite podcasts with you, because that's always fun. Anyway, so yeah, so I made a list of all of the Ravelry summer things that I had purchased, and I will try to. I think what I'll do is do like maybe a slideshow at the end, so you can see what they are. I'm not going to say every single name, there's too many, but what I will tell you is that 1, 2, 3, 4, about there are four projects that I actually have the yarn for already, so I would say those have made top of the list. And I talked about one of them already, which is the Anchor Summer Shirt by Petite Knits. I have the yarn for that, which I showed you before. The Deshane, which I knit before I showed it to you, I think last podcast. I knit it in the wrong yarn. It was way too big. So I actually, years ago when I made that, I had repurchased yarn for it. So I ended up buying the linen that they, I think it's called Kestrel, which is linen that they recommended in the pattern. I think it's like a maroon color. So that's definitely something I want to make. The Miss Arena Tee by Caitlin Hunter, which I showed you the yarn that I got from Aubrey of Knits and Knots Tahoe. That was her yarn, which is called Storyteller Yarn. The Shelley Summer Top, which is a pattern by Nancy Ricci, and that one is really cool. It's just it has like a, kind of reminds me of an art deco. It kind of has like a shell pattern. I'll try to put pictures of all these guys in here so you can see. And so those four are things that I really, those four patterns I would really like to knit. Oh, and as if tee is another one too. I'll put a star next to that. Okay, and so I'll show those. Yeah, there's some really good ones. So I was watching the Knitting Place, which is one of my other favorite podcasts. Dinah and Pammy, who have a store in Long Island, and what I like is they always put together kits, and they just have really good color sense, and it creates a lot of good inspiration. They do a lot of lives on Instagram, and it's fun. And so they had this one that they showcased, which was called the Cancun Lace Top by Kate Anchor. And they had this beautiful yarn by Blue Heron Yarns, and it's a rayon metallic yarn. And so this top came out, they had it on the mannequin there in the store, and it was just so pretty. It was something that you could, dress up or down, and you could, pair it with anything, jeans or a skirt or whatever. And so they had beautiful colors. And so that was my one purchase that I said, that I made recently. And so this colorway is called Chesapeake. And I will try to put a picture of the knitted top there. But anyway, I just thought it was really, green is one of my favorite colors. And I love the blue and purple. It's just great. And then it has a gold metallic-y, see? So I think it'll come out really pretty. and it looks really easy. You know, it's very lacy, and so I think it would probably knit up in a couple weeks. So that's that. I have been dreaming of things for fall already, because before you know it, I mean, summer just started, but you know, spring was here and gone in such a flash. And really, I think most people are knitting things for fall during the, you know, it's opposite. You know, you're knitting things, even though for some people in certain areas, like back east and stuff, it'd probably be very hot to do this. But I think if you live in a cooler climate, I think most people, during the summer, they'll knit, you know, for the opposite seasons. So they'll, in the summer, knit, you know, wintry things. And then in the winter, knit for summer so that everything's ready. Your wardrobe is ready to go. Of course, I don't do that. I mean, I'm not that organized. So... but some of the things that I've been dreaming, so when I say dreaming, going into my, again, knitting what I've already purchased, which is in my Ravelry. And I have to say, another downside about just buying things, like the minute you see it, rather than like thinking about it, maybe putting it in your favorites and thinking about it, and then maybe purchasing it later, is that, sorry, someone's calling me, is that I don't know. I mean, everybody's different, but I feel like my taste has changed on some of these patterns. And so I look at some of them now and I think that was a waste of money, because I probably don't want to knit that now. It's not really my taste, or it doesn't appeal to me. And so luckily there's not too many of those, but there are some. Or there's some that, you know, I bought as a brand new knitter, like within my first couple months, not realizing that I didn't know how to do those techniques, like brioche, which I'm not saying I'm never going to learn brioche. I want to learn brioche. I'm actually looking forward to that. But if I could do it over, I wouldn't purchase patterns for techniques that I don't know. You know, I would wait, just because from a budget standpoint, it's just silly to do that. So some of the things that I really liked, that really spoke to me in my library that I could knit for fall, are the Ara Shawl by Andrea Mowry. Now, I've talked about this before. I'll put a picture in here. I've talked about this before, that I love Andrea's aesthetic. I love the way her patterns look. My brain has a hard time processing the way she writes her patterns. And so it's nothing to... I'm the minority. People love her patterns, and so many people... I mean, she's one of the most popular knitters out there, knitwear designers. But for some reason, the way she writes them just doesn't jive really well with the way that I learn or my brain processes information. So I've, you know, just like the sweater that I showed you, the Comfort Fade Cardi, that was a really tough one for me to get through. And I ended up I didn't frog it yet, but it's still sitting there with an unfinished collar. I ripped that collar back a couple times, and it really got under my skin, honestly. So I think if I try with a shawl, maybe I can handle that. And also, you know, I was thinking about it. I really have not knit that many shawls for myself. I have 2. And, you know, I love them. I mean, I probably, if I had a bunch of different colors and patterns and weights of yarn, I would use the heck out of them, because it's a good way to express yourself, but not be like super hot. And during the winter here, I mean, it gets cool, but it doesn't get, you know, it's California. It's not crazy cold. So I think it's a layering piece that would be really good for my wardrobe. So I think I'm going to try to knit more shawls for fall. So the Ara shawl, and then this other one called the Coro Coro. Now this is a really cool designer. Her name's Olga I'm going to butcher this. Barava Kafelin. And I think she might be from Belarus. I don't know. I think. Could be wrong on that. Maybe Hungarian? She's maybe Hungarian. I'm hungry. I don't know. But her pattern designs they're insane. I mean, they are works of art. Her brain is out of this world. And I'll post a picture of the particular shawl that I'm talking about. But hers are like 3D. So they are typically, I think, color work, and they have, some of them might be mosaic, but they pop up. The pattern is raised, and it's literally like a 3D, often geometric looking pattern. Anyway, it like literally pops out this one pattern. It's almost like you're sitting in one of those theaters looking, the 3D glasses. It's really cool. It's like you could reach out and touch something popping out at the screen. That's what I feel like these patterns are like. They're just so pretty. And it looks a little tricky, but again, I'm really excited when I can learn new things, and it's ever changing. So I think that her pattern really, her designing really fits the bill. I think it will work good for someone with my type of brain. So that's one. I'll put a picture there. On the Spice Market by Melanie Berg, which is an older pattern, but I love that one. That was one of the first ones that I purchased. And I'll put a picture in here. It uses a lot of different colors, which I was looking in my yarn stash. I put together the set already. I just pulled things out of my stash and put together a little kit. So I already have that waiting. So those are the 3 shawls I'm really interested in doing. I don't know what yarn I would do the Ara shawl in yet. I didn't really research that. So I'd probably start with the On the Spice Market just because I have the yarn ready to go. Okay, so another thing that I've been wanting to knit so badly is the Wave of Change jacket by Denise Bayron, and it is such a cute jacket. It's I'll put a picture here. It's a stocking knit, but with garter ridge lines, and so every so often, probably every 10 rows, it's a garter stitch purl bumps, and it's so lovely, and I think it uses a DK weight, and so I actually have some really beautiful gold colored yarn that I think will look really nice in that. That was gifted to me. So yeah, those are all things that I'm thinking of doing. That's really all of the knitting that I really have. I did make a bird for a student whose mom was really sick during the school year, and so she had just gotten out of, I think her mother was in the hospital like a good portion of our school year, and so we just were trying to support her as best we could at school, and she went through a lot. So at the end I decided, well, she actually came to me back when we were on Zoom. I think one of the times we did a show and tell, and I showed them some of the birds that I had made, and so she got really excited. And so at the end of the school year, I think it was about 2 months ago, she asked me if I would make her a bird for her mom, and so I did that. And it was like a dummy. I didn't take a picture of it, but it was really cute. I used a bird body that I think it's the one I showed you guys that I had made for my friend's mom. It was a little too upright. Well, I tweaked it and made it work. You know, once I put the legs on and put the little face on, it was really cute. And then I even embroidered a little heart on its chest, and it came out really sweet. I gave it a little cute little ribbon around its neck. Take my word for it, it was cute. She was really excited. So, and I told her, I said, you can keep it for yourself, or you can keep it for mom, or you can give it to mom. It doesn't matter to me. But so anyway, that was a fun thing to do. I'm still working on my on my niece's sweater. You know, it's mohair. I actually just saw her. I did not show her the sweater, but I will get it done. I'm almost done with the first sleeve, and then the second sleeve, and I mean, that's it. And then I'll start on my nephew's sweater. I think I'm still trying to figure out the yarn choice on that one, because I think in one of the other episodes I mentioned how the yarn that I had chosen was that cotton tape yarn, and it wasn't working out very well. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for the knitting. I got a couple things I wanted to talk about. I haven't really been reading. I know that I said in my last podcast that I had 3 books that I wanted to. Well, I went into my Audible account because, you know, it's so silly. I think I bought it for Elle a long time ago, and then sometimes subscriptions get away from you, and you're like, wow, I have all these subscriptions that I am paying for that I don't really even use, and so I didn't delete it, but I suspended my Audible so that I could catch up on the pattern or the titles that I already had in there. And so I've yet to really read any. Well, that's not true. I used some of my credits, and I asked friends and family if they had any book recommendations. Some people did, so I added those. And I think I've been. Oh, one that I purchased was Agatha Christie book, 5 Little Pigs, I think it's called. I don't know anything about it, but I do know that I like mysteries, and so hopefully the next time I chat with you guys, I'll be into it more, and I'll give you a little report. I've just been knitting a lot. I really want to sew too. I have so much fabric that I just need to use, and patterns. It's just silly. It's just sitting here. I did need a presser foot for my sewing machine, which I ended up getting at Michael's one day. So now I have zero excuse, except that I do want to finish the things that I'm knitting, which is part of my goal, is to be better at being monogamous with my crafts. So anyway, I did buy this. It's called Mending Matters. And it's a book that I've had my eye on for a long time, because I'm really, I love the idea of keeping things that fit you, even if they're holey, because you can patch them up and make them look beautiful. So I actually have a pair of jeans that I'm going to do this with, and maybe a couple of other pairs of pants. I have some pants that are stained. It's like I can't get the stain out, but I love the pants. So this is a good way that you could maybe make a patch for it so that you could continue wearing them. I mean, there's so many cute. Look at that. I actually have a dress like that. I love that style, that cut. This book is, it's called Mending Matters, Stitch, Patch, and Repair Your Favorite Denim and More. It's by Katrina Rodabow. You can see that. So it's called A Slow Fashion Guide for a Well-Loved Wardrobe. Let's see. I mean, so cute. I love it. Yeah, just step by step. Sashiko method. I love Sashiko. I definitely want to learn it. I noticed they had some kits on Pearl Soho. But again, I'm not purchasing anything right now because I need to get through the stuff that I have going. So that's something that I got that I'm excited about. Oh, and there was one more thing. I did buy another knitting book because I was watching Andrea Mowry's. She has a podcast now. I think it's called I'll knit if I want to. I think that's what it's called. And she's pretty good. I think she podcasts like every week. So she had made, I think someone had asked her some of her more favorite books as a designer that she recommended, and so this was one of them. She said this was her number one, and so I went and got it because it really focuses a lot on fitting, which for me, as a busty person, that's always an issue with making sweaters. So I don't know. Maybe if I had a better understanding of all of it, she says this is where to start, and it's an older book, but I think. Because she's so popular, when she recommended it, I think I went and bought it a week later, and there were only a couple copies left. So I don't think it's easy to get your hands on, but it's made by Schoolhouse Press, so you may be able to go directly there to get it. Sorry, it's not. Yeah, it's published by Schoolhouse Press. Okay, and then the other thing I wanted to show you is something totally non-knitting, but it could help knitters with their hands and their, our hands tend to get dry sometimes, especially if you use like cotton yarn. And a friend of mine, I consider a friend because I've been purchasing from her shop for years, and I just can't say enough nice things about her as a person and also her products. So I just thought it would be fun to show you. And I just realized that I got oil all over the label, so it's hard to even read it, but it looks kind of bad. But anyway, I have been purchasing, so her company is Le Noir Blue, and her name is Mary, and she has an Etsy store, and I think she also has her own website. And she just makes all kinds of homeopathic aromatherapy products. Most of them, I think all of them maybe, are vegan, plant-based. I know for a fact, because her and I talk a lot about, because I was getting into oils for a minute there too, and she uses only the best of everything. A lot of the herbs that she uses, she grows herself. She's just incredible. And then when you get the packages, they ship so quickly, and the amount of attention to detail that she puts in them is just, it's like old school. It's like old school customer service that it's a rarity these days. And so I don't know. I just felt like I needed to mention her, because if you could go to her shop and give her some love, it would be so awesome, and tell her I sent you. But that's the name of her company. This one here is a restorative rosewood. Did I say that word right? Restorative or restorative? Restorative. Rosewood oil. So it's plant-based, luxurious body oil for daily moisturizing or massage. And it smells out of this world. And her products last forever. Like this little tiny thing of lotion. Well, it's not tiny, but it looks like, it's not that big. This thing will last me like 3 months. Her stuff is so rich and great that it just a little bit goes a long way, and it smells out of this world. This one's lavender. Ugh. Soaps. This one is, I wish you could just smell this. It's just incredible. It's a black charcoal rose soap. I think this is rose and lavender. Yeah, that's what it is. Anyway, I will try to remember to either put it here on the screen or put it in the description box below. But yeah, I highly recommend if you want to pamper yourself, buy some of her products. She's just a really nice lady. So I think that's it for the knitting. I guess I'll talk a little bit about personal stuff. And so if you're not interested in that, then I will catch you during the next episode. Thanks for watching. Bye. So, I mean, there's not much to say. I haven't done a lot of time to travel around, but I did travel to Placerville, which is where I partly grew up, and my dad's family is still there. So my grandpa, he's not doing so well, having some dementia and things like that. And so I won't get into all that, but it was important for me to go visit him, and it was really meaningful. My dad is going through a lot because he's his primary caretaker as well as my dad's wife, and so it's been hard on them. But you know, it was good. It was important for me to go and see him. He's 94. I'm sure some of you have been through that with your family members that have, you know, it's sad because his mind is slipping, but his body is still completely healthy. And so, you know, that's got to be rough for a person. You know, it's got to be lonely too. So I think the mind is a powerful thing. I think a lot of what he is going through, you know, it started out as more of a vision issue. I think has also turned into delusions due to being, you know, lonely, and it's hard to get older and lose your independence and rely so much on people, and it's a heavy thing. So that was important for me to go. I enjoyed seeing family. I got to hang out with my niece and nephew, the one that I'm knitting the sweaters for, and we got to do pom-poms, and that was really fun. So I'll post a picture in there of our, or not here, maybe at the end, of our pom-pom making. Although my nephew is a little young for it still. It's, you know, it requires quite a bit of fine motor. So I helped him along with it. He did some of it, but, you know, he'd get frustrated with the winding and it would get tangled. But, you know, in the end, we got them done, and they were really cute. They got to pick their colors and the little tie that we did them with. And then my niece made her own, and it was really cute. She did hers with cotton. So it's fun to see the different weights of yarn and how they turn out at the end. We actually were in a rush when I was making those with them, so I didn't get a picture of those, but I just love making pom-poms with kids. I think it's really fun. It's good for their brains. It's good for their fine motor, you know, and then they have something to show for it. And it's not as frustrating as, say, knitting, you know. So that is a project that I actually did with all my kindergartners this year at the end. So fun. Yeah, I actually I had a pom-pom maker set by Clover, and then I purchased another one because actually I couldn't find mine. And then I ended up finding it, of course, after I purchased it. So I had planned on taking back the second one, but then my co-teacher was like, why? Because it might be good for future years, you know, we'll have, and really, it ended up being great because with that many kids, and we have 21 kids, or no, that's not true. We had 14 kids this year when we came back in person, and it was nice to have at least two big pom-poms, and sometimes even some of them wanted to do the little one. So it made it go a lot quicker, because making a pom-pom is quite the process. So it can take a while. So that was really fun. Later this summer, I'm planning on going to Santa Barbara with some family, and so I'm looking forward to that. I haven't been there in years, and it's a beautiful area. So that's my one vacation for the summer. And then the last thing is that, as I've said to you guys before, Ellie moved to Florida, and was staying with an aunt, and then ended up, her aunt got, was not well. Her health was not good. So she, needed the extra room in her house for her daughter to come and help her with treatments. And so Elle got her own place, but it's just too expensive. It's not working out financially. She needs to be around more family. So she's decided to move to Arizona because she really doesn't want to come back here to California. California is expensive. And it's hard to make it here. You know, and I have a teeny tiny place. It wasn't that fun for her to be here, you know, kind of on top of each other. So I think it's a better move for her to move back to Arizona. Her dad's there. She's going to enroll in school over there. And, you know, I think it's good for kids to, we let her try it, see how expensive it is to live on your own without an education. I mean, everybody has their opinion on that. I don't even care at this point. It's like, just do a trade even would be good. Just something. So these are all life lessons that are valuable. So she's going to be doing that, moving there in about a week. Yeah, so that's really what's been going on. The kitties are good. You know, Louise still has the breathing issue. I don't think that it's even asthma at this point. I'm not sure what it is. It's actually been a little better lately now that I think of it. So that's weird because we're in summer. Maybe it was when things first started blooming. I don't know. If you guys have a cat with asthma, let me know what you do. Or if you have any similar, if you've noticed any similar breathing problems with your cats and it wasn't asthma. I don't know. It's just like every time I take her to the vet, they don't have a definitive answer for me unless I do all these like tests, which could be inconclusive and cost $500, you know, a piece. It's just, I just can't see doing it. I don't know. I mean, if it gets way worse, of course I'll have to, but we'll see. Oh, and to shave or not to shave. So Louise, you guys have seen, she's got a lot of hair. Do I shave her? Maybe that would make her feel comfortable. She'd be able to breathe better. I don't know. And my landlord, they have a cat next door. And so they've been letting their cat out more. And he's a boy cat. He's so cute. I'll post some video footage of him, I think. So he is always flirting with my girl cats. And Cosette loves him. And so every afternoon he comes and meows at the window. And he just stands there and looks at us. And it's really cute. So anyway, that's all I really have. Just checking in. And I hope that you guys are, you know, enjoying everything opening up, back up since, you know, from the pandemic. Things are slowly, most people are getting vaccinated. Not everybody, but I mean, I've had both my shots, and so it was weird because when I went to Placerville, here in this, where I live in my county, they just started, they were slower to open things up, but in other areas of California, it's been, over in Placerville, my sister said they really have been open for quite a while, and it was, almost felt dirty or bad, or like I was doing the wrong thing to have my mask off. Like I kind of felt guilty, but then I don't because I am vaccinated. So it's strange. You have to get past that feeling of I'm doing something wrong, you know. So anyway, that's just nice. It's good to see people out and about, hanging out together with their families and spending time in the sun and going to the river and all the things that we should be doing. So anyway, I hope this finds you well and that you are enjoying your making or in your knitting or whatever it is that you're doing. And I guess I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye. Oh, and like and subscribe if you could. I'm having, I'm not good at, you know, self-promotion or anything. And I really need to look into what I'm doing wrong because I really mean, I don't think my podcast is horrible. I just don't know how to get the word out there. So, yeah. But like and subscribe. It always helps. Okay? Thanks. Bye. Are you serious? Oh, okay. You're connecting. Okay, I'm going to turn this off now. I'm going to hang up. Hang up.
You hang up.
So are you connecting or what? It says you're trying to connect to the audio. Are you there? No, I can't hear you. You're connecting still, it says. Hold on.
Recording in progress.
Oh, you look so cute. I wish I could squeeze your hand.
I don't.
Okay, so this is the Nitty McNitterton episode because I included Elle from Florida.
How does that make it a Nitty McNitter
I
son?
have to do something embarrassing.
Fart?
Anyway, so welcome to the Grateful Knitters. We have a guest appearance with Elle here. How's it going over there, Elle, in Florida? Is it fun? First of all, what's the weather like?
It's hot.
Yeah.
It's super hot. 90s? We're sweaty every single day.
In the 90s, you think?
Yeah.
But you have AC in your car, so you're good.
Actually, my AC just broke, so now it only works on the 4th setting.
That's not good, dude.
What does that mean?
You just bought that car. What's the mileage on that car?
Shit. 11400 or something. No, 114,000.
Yeah, I mean.
Eli said that it was the Freon.
Well, then do something about it. You got to take it in.
I don't have any money.
Oh, look at Louise in the back. You see her on the Louise.
Hammock? Yeah, I see her. She's being a freaking jerk.
Because she's not socializing with you. Seriously, you're going to play video games during the episode? Do you see how rude this is?
I'm just ending. I'm just saving and quitting.
What do you think about my new ring light? Is the lighting good or should
I want one? I'm kind of jealous of you, to be honest.
Here, but does it look
I'm actually super jealous of you.
Does it look good though? Or should I change the lighting?
Yeah, it looks great. It looks kind of yellow, I'm not gonna lie.
What about this one? I just changed it. Okay, tell me which one looks better. This? That one
looks good.
Really?
No, the one before. The one before, the one before.
That?
Okay, do it again.
Ugh, no.
That one.
No, it's
Wait,
no. Look at my eyes.
It needs to be brighter. You need to do it brighter. Brighter.
Oh my
brighter.
God. Look who's climbing on the back of my chair. Look here.
Aww. Aww.
You terrible kitty.
Tiny baby.
She's a brat. Come on.
She looked like a little tiny baby when she was doing that.
She sees you. So
why does she look like a tiny baby, though?
Because she is. She's a baby kitty girl. Come on. Come on. But she'll never come when you ask her to, ever.
I hate when she does stuff like that.
Okay, this one looks pretty good, right? She's totally tearing up this chair, dude. It's wrecked.
Okay. So you're supposed to ask me questions too, you know. It's a two-way street.
Oh yeah. What's it like being Okay, wait, hang on. No.
Knitting related questions or just a conversation. Do you know how to do that?
Not really. Oh, you know what we could talk about that I am passionate about?
What?
Astrology.
Oh yeah. So share
So
some
Mom,
things.
share some things.
Yeah.
Okay, well let me tell you about something kind of dramatic that happened at work.
Okay, keep it.
Not dramatic, but just like I made a mistake.
Okay, but remember we're on a podcast on YouTube, so be chill about appropriateness.
No, I wasn't like that. This is what happened.
Okay.
So I just have an announcement to make really to the world, I guess. For the people who are like, oh, I don't want to talk to that person because they're this sign. You don't understand astrology, and if you are someone who thinks that way, then you really need to try to get an understanding of natal birth charts, because no one is any one such sign. Everyone is made up of different aspects, and it's all a spectrum. And you know, some people are going to, like, if you look at astrology, basically astrology is where all the planets were at the moment that you were born, and then based on the positioning of those planets, that is determined. So like, for example, like with moon signs, a lot of people don't even know what their moon sign is, or they don't even know what that is, when that is such a crucial aspect to your personality. Because the sun, I can't say exactly what the sun influences more, because I don't want to be saying false information and then be wrong and then sound like an idiot. But I will say, I know this: the moon sign, that is the aspect of your personality that is based on how you deal with your emotions and how you experience emotions. And that is so crucial to understanding, because like, especially with relationships, because if you're going to be in a relationship with someone and you don't understand how their sign deals with experiencing emotions, then you are going to be at such a disadvantage, and really you're just not going to understand that person at all. So if you can understand a person's moon sign and then how to deal with that sign, then you can absolutely navigate. Like,
Maybe
I know it sounds crazy.
Maybe you should consider doing like a tarot thing. Have you thought about that?
I've been thinking about it, but I'm kind of like, do I want to go that far with it? I don't know.
No, I mean, just like a
If I had nice tarot cards, I would do it. If I had a thing of tarot cards. If you ever wanted to give me something like witchy like that, I would totally learn about it and I would do it. And if it made sense to me, then I would like believe in it and do it, dude. But you know, I like stuff with astrology.
Well, so do you think that you could like that you're
this is what I believe.
Like a paganist?
No, I don't even know what paganism is,
well,
dude.
It's usually just the worship of nature. A lot of witches are pagans, and that's what they worship.
I don't know about all that. I just know that I just don't know anything about it. But I think if I learned about it and if it was something that was believable, then yeah, dude.
Learn about it.
It's totally possible.
Learn about it. It is very interesting. You know, some people don't put a lot of stock into it. Some people do. I do think there's something to it. I don't know that it's that.
Oh, I'm like,
I don't know. I mean, I
speak to so many people every day, dude. I literally have the very first thing that I like see on a call or whatever is someone's date of birth, right? So I instantly know their sign. And then based on how the call goes, like it's just constant interaction with me being in control, knowing like what kind of person this is. But also keep in mind, it's like I don't know those other really, really important things like the moon sign. And I don't have someone's natal birth chart available to me. Like,
Well, that's what I'm
showing
saying.
the
Maybe
position.
you could figure out a way to create
Make like a
birth
dating
charts for
app.
people. Ooh, that would be cool based on your
Like,
astrological.
yeah.
You should do
Like
that, dude.
yeah, that is a good idea.
I don't think that's been done.
I don't know. It probably has.
No, it has not. I mean, you
But
know
I'm
all the dating sites. You know what they are.
dude,
Everybody knows.
I don't know all of them. I don't hang out on dating sites.
Well, I have. Not that I do anymore, but I have in the past. I mean, nothing's
Yeah.
really changed there. I think my girlfriend is on Hinge. I heard of one called Hinge. I gave those up.
Yeah, that one's like I think it's designed where I just heard that it's designed to be deleted or something. I don't know.
You know what? She's met a really nice guy, but I don't know. I didn't like it because they include your last name. But to me, that's weird.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
It's too intrusive. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to know anything about me,
Right.
especially if it's like a dating app or whatever.
Yeah.
But everyone should get into that because you can, and keep in mind that, so my mom is a Pisces with,
by the way, if you're just joining us, we might have some new subscribers. Elle is actually not my co-host anymore, but she moved away to Florida, and I thought it would be fun to just have a tiny episode to catch up with her because I have had some questions. Elle and I were just saying that we were kind of bored, so we thought we would do this.
No, dude, I'm not bored. I'm just lonely.
Aww.
I know. My life's sad.
Made a really good friend, but her best friend is kind of out of commission this weekend, so you're just hanging out with good old mom. All right. Yep. Well, you haven't really been doing any knitting. I mean, let's face it.
I haven't been doing, I've not been knitting, period.
No, you designed a couple hats. It's not that you don't enjoy knitting, but you just moved away and you got
okay, so I just like I just don't, I go through phases where I become obsessed with something and then I kind of like lose interest in it.
Yeah. You never did that with art though. You consistently always had your art. Are you drawing?
Well, actually, you know what? I've kind of been taking a huge break from art, and then I like drew this picture of a bird today and I colored it and stuff, and it came out really nice, I think.
Can I see it?
And I just haven't been satisfied with what did you say?
Can I see it?
It's in my car. I would have to go outside to grab it.
Okay, well, you could send me a picture of it later and we could I'll add
it. You can put it in.
Yeah.
It's not that good, so like don't get too excited, but
Elle's been an artist since she was like wee bitty, tiny.
Forever.
Or kindergarten.
Probably.
And I teach kindergartners, and I can tell you, like, her art was always really advanced for a kindergartner. It's fun to see those. So? My favorite, I love kindergarten so much, Elle, because it's a lot of responsibility. You're shaping these little guys and seeing them grow. The growth is so much. It's like a really, really heavy person losing a bunch of weight, and they lose weight and it's so rapid, right? I don't know. Is that a good analogy? I just feel like they grow so quickly. And even, it's so fun. It's just fun to work in elementary school because then you see like next year, Audrey's going to be in 5th grade.
How is
Crazy,
Audrey?
right? Audrey's for most of my viewers, I talk about Audrey all the time. She's my little girl that I take care of. She's doing good. She, it's been the transition for all this. The schools have been hard on the kids too. We're in phase 4. We're in the last. We have 1 more week left of school. So this coming week is just going to be.
That's
fun.
it, really?
Yeah. Pretty cool, huh? Wouldn't it be fun if you could come for the summer and bring your friends? No, you got to work.
The summer, the whole summer.
Now. You're in the system. You're in that.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
What do you mean I'm working for the man?
Just you have to work now, and you're in that cycle where you're paying bills and you're doing all the stuff that keeps you in that cycle.
Oh.
All right. So
yeah, that's why I have to go to school.
Did you have any questions for me, Elle?
Yeah, what have you been working on?
Funny you should ask.
Okay,
so I talked about this the last episode. My friend's daughter just graduated from law school, from a really prestigious school, and I decided to knit her the Escher's Dream Cowl by Sweater Freak Knits, and it's a beautiful pattern. I actually, let me see if I have it in here. I might. Oh, it's on the couch. It's fine. I'll put it in here later. But okay, so it's going to be so impossible to even see it. But this is 100% cashmere yarn, you guys. It's so soft. Oh my gosh.
And if you're not aware, cashmere is made of it's made of goat foreskin.
No, it is not.
I know, I'm just kidding.
Funny.
Sorry, I thought I would say something funnier.
There's 2 kind of cashmeres though, isn't there?
I have no idea.
I don't either. Actually.
Well, you should know, Miss Knitter.
Well, yeah, but I'm not a spinner. I don't make the yarn.
Be a knitter, not a quitter.
Exactly. So this is not good because you can't see anything with this light, though. Let me turn it off for a minute. No. Now, see, if I had the hover cam here, you could see it better. Here's the problem.
Why don't you?
The blue, so it's blue and beige, are my 2 colors. They don't have enough.
Mom. I gotta tell you something real quick.
Yeah.
You have a runny nose.
No, I really don't.
And you can see it on camera.
No, it's a glitter. It was glitter.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I should add that.
That was pretty funny.
At the end, huh?
Yeah, you can add that.
Make bloopers. Okay.
If you want to commit, you know what though? I've actually been using the Wondershare Fillmore app too.
Well, I pay for it, I think, don't I? Dude, I pay.
Yeah, you paid for it for a year.
I don't even know. Like, I need to go through and see what I'm like. Like, I pay for Audible. I need to delete that because I have like 16 free books and I haven't used any of them.
I hate audiobooks, dude.
I know. I'd much rather read a real book.
Yeah, for real.
But you can read a lot more if you listen to them, So that's the thing.
But I don't have the attention span for that. It's not interactive enough for me to retain what I'm reading.
What about when you
but I can
work?
No, I listen to music. I blast music,
yeah, I'm the
dude.
Same way. Okay, so you guys can't see it.
You blast a baby on the way to work like I do.
Oh, there you have it. See, it's not enough contrast, and I'm gonna keep going
blue and beige.
Because in the day, everybody's like, "No, it looks fine," but we'll see. I have 1 more week to get it done. What?
That glitter is pretty glittery.
You want to hear something crazy? Did I tell you this the other day? I watched Audrey and Cody all weekend, and then I went to drop them off at the hotel that their parents were staying in. And Cass looked at me and it was Cody. He goes, Miss Stephanie, you have a bloody nose. And I just my nose started like
Oh
filling
yeah.
with blood. Pretty
Yeah, I
weird,
think you
right?
told me that.
Do you know Star Wars very well? Like the
No,
old
not at
ones?
all. Mom, you know that I've never seen a single Star Wars movie.
You haven't?
I've seen like part of maybe one of them or
Okay,
something.
so you don't know what the bird poured. This is a bird that Cody requested. But it's a big, weird looking bird. I don't
Why
know.
is it weird?
It just has these humongous eyes. But he's totally into it and he keeps asking me for it. So I gotta finish it. Oh, look at these cute little tiny baby scissors I got.
So you're saying that
So those are my 3
you're saying
projects.
that so you're trying to tell me
Aren't those cute?
that basically
Ow.
you're trying to say, yes, I see them. They're very cute and adorable. You're trying to tell me that you can make Cody a child that is not your biological child. You can make Cody a nice item, but you can't make me a doll?
Oh my god.
What?
That's like comparing apples to oranges. That's like comparing making like a bird versus a sweater. The Steven doll was huge. And it was a lot of work.
And
look,
it was
you
like
fell out of
this
love with it anyway. What?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't like Steven Universe anymore.
I talked about this on one of the earlier episodes that I'm apprehensive to knit for my kids because you guys, just like you said yourself, you go in and out of phases so quickly.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would I invest?
Constantly changing. That's what I told you. Constantly changing all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's a good
crazy.
thing, right?
Not, you think so? I don't know. It could be seen as a good thing, but it could also be seen as like inconsistent and confusing. You know, if you're dealing with someone that likes for things to stay the same, then that can be seen as not a good thing. Just saying.
Well, back to this project. I'm really happy with how it's coming out. I really like it. I think the yarn. So what I did was I
like the pattern.
Yeah, it's really pretty. It's really like it's one of those patterns where you have to pay attention, but it's also pretty intuitive and it's rhythmic. It's kind of meditative. It helps your brain. I just like that it's constantly changing. That's when I find that I'm definitely a person who gets bored if it's the same stitch over and over and over. Like these people that knit like entire garter blankets. It's like, no way. It drives me nuts. Like I want to learn a new stitch with every pattern. You know?
Yeah, but that seems like too much information to process.
It's good for
like
your
how
brain.
you
Did you know that they're doing studies that if you do things like that, you are less likely to get dementia?
Well, then you're gonna need to do that. You know what's funny? Looking at old pictures of us, because there's a lot of pictures where I do the shark face like this.
Oh, God. In all the pictures, you went through that shark phase. All right.
I know.
So that...
Why was I doing that?
Because you're a doofinator.
Fudge.
You're a fish face, like the cats.
A fish face?
Yeah.
That insinuates that I'm doing gross stuff with my face, though, which is not true.
Edit.
Why?
You're just bad.
What do you mean?
I don't know. That could just be interpreted really poorly.
By who? I think by you. I think really if you're the one who sees an issue with that, then you need to get your mind out of the gutter.
Yeah, probably. That's pretty accurate.
You look nice.
Oh, thanks. So do you.
Yeah, right, dude.